Pistonhead, Piston Pack.
Life is too short to be drinking shitty beer.
Welcome to another edition of Bands, Bikes and Booze Reviews. Today on my travels I discovered in Lidl this little pack that was available for £5.98. Now that might sound a little bit excessive for 2 cans of beer and a glass. I think that is actually about right. The glass may be a little bit overpriced, but certainly the 2 cans. I mean, I remember once we was in some shitty fucking pub. It was hell on earth. It was like a wine bar, and they had fucking racks and racks of wine and wine lists. And I don't know why I ended up there with someone, and for the life of me, I can't remember who it was. It was a couple of people actually, and it was near work, so it must have been people from work. And I'm fucked if I'm drinking wine. But the only beer they had was a can of the Pistonhead Lager, which is okay. Not this flat tyre stuff, it's the standard one in the black can. But they wanted something like $3.99 for it. I nearly fucking choked. For a 330ml can, they wanted $3.99. I said, I'm having one drink and I'm fucking off out of here. And if that door don't bang me on the arse on the way out, then someone better boot me up the arse, because I need to get out of there fucking sharpish. Anyway, relax. And yeah, that was my that was one of my excursions with Pistonhead. The very first one I had was in a place called the Big Red, and it was in that must have been about 2013. And Big Red is sadly gone now. That's a fucking tale of woe. I could dedicate a whole program to that. But if you don't know, the Big Red was a really good music and rock venue in London. It was on the Holloway Road in North London. I used to know one of the girls that worked in the kitchen there, and occasionally I'd go down there for a beer with her, and yeah, it was good times actually. But they had Pistonhead when Pistonhead first came out, so it must have even been a bit earlier. It might have been about 2012 or something like that. But when Pistonhead came out, they gave them a load of beer to sell, to try and get people interested. So I was drinking the Pistonhead Lager, and that was a reasonable price. She got a staff discount anyway, so it didn't cost me too much. But they also give them a liqueur, or what they called a liqueur, and it was called Crude Oil. And it was something like, it was like, if you can imagine Jägermeister with a lot of salt in it. It was like a salted liqueur. Jesus Christ, the next morning. That's when I realised I couldn't do hangovers anymore. The next morning, the hangover was absolutely horrendous. I thought I was going to die. I thought I'd got alcoholic poisoning. But she was a fucking terrible influence. She was always plying me full of drink, for fuck's sake. But anyway, enough about that. We've got this stuff now. As I say, I've got this from Lidl. This was This was $5.98. So, maybe a little bit overpriced. But I haven't tried any of these before, and I just thought it's going to be hard for me to get hold of these if ever I'm going to try them. So I just thought, fuck it, I'll buy them now. So here we are. So what one am I going to do for this? I'll tell you what, I'm going to go for the Haze Lager, and we'll see how that goes. I'll do the flat tyre some other time. But I will say, Pistonhead have got a very good ethos when it comes to beer and the whole company. There's the glass. It's a half-pint glass. Not very impressive, but there you go. Might come in handy for something. But yeah, I've tried the normal lager, as I say, but I've also tried the amber, full amber, I think it was called, and that was really nice. It reminded me a bit of a German, not a Dunkel, but just a Marzen. That's what it reminded me of. It was very nice though. I do remember that. The reviews on the channel, if you want to have a look, and that was quite good. The Pistonhead Lager, the normal Pistonhead Lager, yeah, I've tried that before as well, as I just mentioned. But as I say, what I like about this is I like the artwork. It's like a candy skull. They're into their cars, their hot rods, and the music as well. And they do say that they like brewing to the sound of coughing engines and ballsy music. Well, that is fucking me down to a T. Especially the coughing engines. Listen to one of my Harleys. Jesus Christ. Fucking noise of them. Anyway, the beer that we're going to do is a haze lager. So, let's stop guessing. Let's investigate the beer. Right, I have to say, I haven't researched any of these, so this could sound a bit amateurish. So here we go. It's 5.1%. It's a 330ml can. It's unfiltered lager, according to them, and it contains Galaxy hops, which are, if my memory serves me correctly, which most of the time it doesn't, I think they are New Zealand hops. Not normally something I expect to see in a traditional lager, but I'll give them the benefit of the doubt on this one. What else have we got on here? We've got a lot of stuff in Swedish. Brutal Brewing. Yeah, that's the name of the company. They call it Pistonhead, but Brutal Brewing is the name of the company. Ingredients. Vodka. It's all Swedish. Fucking another language to try and learn. Oh no, they got it in English. Relax. Water, barley malt, hops and yeast. Okay, does it give any brewing information? Oh, it just says Australian Galaxy. Oh, Australian, not New Zealand. They're Australian. Do apologise. There you go. That's it, really. I should have looked up the website, shouldn't I? Oh well. Not to worry. Let's get in the glass. Let's see what it tastes like. Now, as I said, I'm not sure whether I've tried lager with Galaxy hops in it before, but this could potentially be a first for me. But here we go in the glass. If the glass is dirty, don't blame me, blame Lidl's or Brutal Brewing. That looks quite cloudy. It looks like an American pale ale. The fucking carbonation in it. Whoa, look at that. That is it. Can you see that? Can you see that carbonation? There is a lot of carbonation. I have to say though, the head does look quite good, tightly packed. 1.5 finger white head. Aroma. You can definitely smell them Galaxy hops. There's like a grapefruit bitterness to it. Very slight. And there's some pine on there as well. But there's a lot of fruit. A lot of citrus fruit. Let's taste it. I think the Kraken's turned up, that's why the dogs are barking. That's interesting. Very fruity. Citrus fruit, stone fruit, peach, passion fruit, and there's a bit of mango on that as well. Smells quite grapefruity, but I'm not really getting that in the mouth. It's like a very sweet, well, I wouldn't say very sweet, but a sweetish sort of American pale ale. But then the finish is like a lager. You do get a fair bit of biscuit malt on that finish. Mouth feels nice. I will say that, despite all that carbonation, you do get a fair smoothness to that, and you also get quite a nice head retention on that as well. And it's only 5.1%, so the alcohol shouldn't be dissolving that. But I have to say, all in all, it isn't bad. Your average lager drinker may see that as a bit bitter with them Galaxy hops in there. It's not a smooth drinking lager. Certainly not German. You would not mistake this for a German lager. It's a typical craft brew fare where they've thrown in the New World hops. But all in all, it's not too bad. I could drink quite a few of them. this is quite cold as well. It's quite refreshing. Really do get a lot of that Galaxy hop flavour. Quite fruity, lots of passion fruit, and it's okay. It's not your average lager. It's bordering onto an American pale ale with them hops, but certainly drinkable. I could sink quite a few of them. Wouldn't bother me at all. As I say, it's quite refreshing, lovely mouthfeel. Price, well, price is the kicker, isn't it? So what's the verdict on Pistonhead Haze Lager? Well, that worked out, for argument's sake, say £2 for a can. It's not your typical lager. It's unfiltered. It's got American hops in it. Your average lager drinker will not like that bitterness that's on there, that grapefruit bitterness. Personally, I think it's okay. I think it's very drinkable. Wouldn't be my first choice, but it isn't bad, I have to say. What would I give it? I'm gonna give it a 7.5 out of 10. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 7.5 out of 10. I reckon. I think that's fair for what it is, price wise, flavour wise as well. It's not a typical lager. Now, the full amber that they do is very nice indeed, and they also do a normal lager in a black can. Flat Tire is another lager. That's dry hopped lager. That's probably going to taste similar to this. But the other two that I really liked was, well, the Pistonhead lager was quite average, to be fair, but the full amber, that was really nice. I did like that. This stuff though, yeah, it's just okay. It's one of them beers that it could be anything, to be honest. It could be any craft brewed lager. Tastes reasonably okay. Nothing really nasty in it. Fairly refreshing. It's just not what you'd expect from a lager. I mean, you've only got to look at it and immediately you put in mind of an American pale ale, and then aroma-wise, yeah, it's like a sort of an American pale ale type thing. And yeah, it tastes like a toned down American pale ale. So yeah, there you go. 7.5 out of 10. If you want to buy it, buy it. Wouldn't be my go-to, and I don't think I'll be getting this one again. And remember, beer is working class champagne.